There are ideas about why the entertainment industry is so filled with things that evoke morbid curiosity, like true crime podcasts and horror films and things like that. And that is because there's a sweet spot for just the right amount of uncertainty. Often morbid curiosity is sort of used to say that it is an unhealthy or an irrational curiosity, but I see it as a curiosity for death, violence or harm. So it's more about the content that people are curious about than to say anything about whether it's unhealthy or irrational, because I actually think that there's good reasons to assume that it has benefits, psychological benefits, to be curious about negative things, so that you can learn something about it or about the world. That's sort of how regular curiosity is also explained, right? People are curious because they want to learn something, or they lack knowledge. They know that there is something that they don't know, and then people become curious. And the same can hold for negative things like accidents. You know that something has happened, but you don't know what, and that's why you become curious. But there's also other things that we're looking at in our research. We're also looking at things like feeling emotions or learning about your own emotions, or that, you know, some people might find it meaningful to learn about other people's suffering. You might learn that something has happened in the world that is very impactful to people, and it might be very negative, but at the same time you feel like it's your sort of moral responsibility to inform yourself about other people's suffering in that sense. So those all can sort of play a role in morbid curiosity. So how does my research explain the popularity of Halloween? Well, I've thought about this, of course, and there is some work on horror entertainment in particular, that I think is very interesting in relation to this question, where these authors actually suggest that again, people might seek out horror movies or scary things in order to learn, right? So to sort of learn about the world and to bring themselves in a situation where they don't really know what is going on, and it's in a way a bit threatening, but at the same time they know it's also safe, right? There's control, right? It's a holiday. There is scary things, but we all know it's fake, it's fiction. So it might be a way to sort of, what they suggest is actually my way to play, a form of adult play, if you will, right? Adults might also seek situations where they can play around with concepts, they can play around with meaning, and horror movies might be a way to sort of seek your boundaries a little bit, to put yourself in a situation where you don't really know what to expect, and that is in a way a psychological beneficial thing, because that's when you update your model about the world. So some people have argued about the importance of, you know, horror movies and those kinds of things, that they're safe contexts to seek where your boundaries are, what you're comfortable with, what you're uncomfortable with. There's some work on haunted houses, for example, where people go into a haunted house, they know they're not in real danger, but they can sort of like feel how they respond when they get afraid. And I think that is also a way to explain Halloween. And I think in America you have these very, very, very scary haunted houses with Halloween that are not to be underestimated in terms of their effect. Why are children so fascinated by spooky stories and Halloween? So yeah, first of all, of course, I'm not a developmental psychologist, so I'm now going to sort of apply what we know about adults to kids. So speculating a little bit, you could go with that idea of play, right? That for kids, you know, it's also important to learn about the world, and Halloween might be a way to learn about negative things, but in a playful environment where, you know, you dress up as a thing that is scaring, and that might give kids control, you know, over the situation, which might make it, yeah, again, a relatively safe situation to learn what they can handle and what they can't handle. So the kid might think, I'm going to be a ghost, or I'm going to be a vampire, or I'm going to be Frankenstein, and that might give them, in a way, control, because they are dressing up as the bad guy. I think for a long time people have looked at morbid curiosity from this perspective of, oh, it's just sensation seeking, right? It's just people who are just doing something weird, they're being irrational, they're doing something that's unhealthy. And I think my work sort of cumulatively is now suggesting that there might also be psychological benefits to this, that it might actually be functional, that it might have a function to engage with negative things. Not to say that you therefore should just do it all the time, but I do think it puts it in a more nuanced perspective. And I think that is an important thing, because if it's so widespread, you would assume that people also do it because they think that there is something to gain. So that's about my sort of like work so far, but at the moment we're really doing all sorts of really interesting stuff in the lab, and there are going to be some really interesting papers coming out soon. So just to stay in line with the horror movies, I would say stay tuned.
Cool.